Not much.
How are
Welcome
you?
to my home.
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's an away game.
This is like the legit. We're meeting for the very first time. And
Absolutely.
I messaged you and I didn't think you were going to message back.
Why you say that?
I don't know, because you're like this big podcaster
Don't do
and
that.
I'm just like this,
Oh, boy.
just starting out. And I'm like, he's not going to get back to me. And then you did. And you're like, yeah, tell me when. Like, I think you said you used a terminology because we were texting in the actual Instagram. And then you said, well, how did you word it? Some like
I don't
lingo.
know. We can't have the phones going, so I
No, we
don't know what's
can't.
going on.
He used some great lingo about get me on the other side or something. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So,
Yeah, it's just, I don't really do guest spots, you know what I mean? But when I do, I try to show up and deliver.
oh,
Most important thing.
So I know nothing about you except through your podcasting. And I love this because this is completely raw. So tell me just a little bit about who Rory actually is. Not Rory the podcaster, not Rory the professional, but who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
A person that wants to serve the community,
I love that.
right? Inspire 1% better. It's the most important thing. It's like how you have the raw and authentic, right? So 1% better club.
So this is called Raw for Really Authentic Women. And I need to introduce that we've got a Ram with us today, a really authentic man. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah,
Is that what they say?
that's what they say.
That could be the most canceled, too.
Yeah, you could be.
You never know,
We'll
right?
see how this goes.
It could be. Sound bites.
May have to do like a walkout or something. May have to walk.
What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I was to ask you, what does authenticity mean to you? What would you say?
Showing up for yourself, showing up for your community, believing everything that it is that you say, no matter how challenging it can be, right? Okay. So when you're thinking about conversations and talking points, not everybody's going to be for you, and you're not going to be for everybody. So what does that look like? How does that show up?
Always be you, right?
The ones that like you are actually going to be there. They're going to rock with you every day.
I agree. I agree with that. Let's do a fun question. Well, no, let's go into a deep question.
Let's get it.
Let's go in. If I was to ask you what's been the most raw moment in your life, like maybe an aha moment or something that's defined you, what would your story be? Like, I want to know your story.
That's a great question. There's so many. There's so many to choose from. I'll go 2018, being ostracized out of a gym, right? So I came in the podcasting space, social injustice issues. One particular person that worked inside of that gym didn't really have a lot of good things to say. But what is it now, 6 years later, and I'm here? So a lot of people, like I mentioned, are not for you, but this is what you have to do. You just have to show up and deliver and know why you stand into your own authentic way, like you like to say.
So when you say the person at the gym wasn't for you, was it racial comments? Was it like,
well,
elaborate on that a
we're
bit?
a visible minority, right? From what I can see.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is that there was a lot of just, oh, you're Black, you shouldn't be talking about social injustice issues. More importantly, pertaining to Colin Kaepernick and his stance, taking the knee, police brutality, which we're still talking about this years after. It's the other, like, look at last week, right? That gentleman there, like, that's unfortunate circumstances. Hurts, you know what I mean? But that's why we have to be here. We have to have these conversations, connect.
So if there was one thing through that, like, did you talk back to this person at the gym? Like, what did you do? Because I don't see you as being.
Oh, you want the tea.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe I have to switch that up for what's in the cup right now.
Well, no, you just drink that wine and we can get you something stronger. But
okay, fair is fair. What ended up happening? I just showed up 5:30 in the morning. I gave him my key and I said, "Take care," and we haven't spoke since.
Wow.
Best way to do it, right? Cease
Sometimes
and see you later.
Speaks volumes.
So you had to do, yeah. So I wish him the very best. It's nothing internal. We grow, but he'll be all right in the place that he's in, and I'm continuing to keep on striving.
Were you born and raised?
Absolutely.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. So, and
you probably have some mutual connection.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm sure we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're way younger than I am. So.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you're probably
how old?
I'm not going to do that.
You can do it. Why not? We're raw.
I would. We are raw.
Let's do it.
Well, I'm going to ask you the same back then. I would say that you're probably in your 30s.
38.
Okay.
And you are what? Going on 32?
Fuck, really?
I'm just keeping it real.
Okay, no, 50. I just turned 50.
That's cap. You don't look 50.
Oh, thank you.
Cap means like,
Yeah, I don't know all these terminology. What does cab mean? Like,
Urban Dictionary. Like you're not, how do you say it? It's not like you're being real,
okay.
but you are being real.
Thank
you don't
you.
look it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fountain of youth.
Aw.
All the good rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the good rest.
Okay.
It's all the drinking, I think.
Drinking.
Yeah. Just water.
Hello?
Just water. Yeah.
Does everybody else know this in here? You just,
That I drink water? I legit am just drinking.
that's water in that glass.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God. One taste. It's water.
There you go.
You didn't believe me, did you?
Sometimes you gotta ask.
Right. Okay.
Being authentic, no? Isn't that what it is?
No, I love it. I love this because it's gonna lead me into something. So I had a friend of mine, like legit just say to me, like, are you on drugs because you're always happy? Why is it that when people are happy, it seems like it's so taboo to be happy nowadays?
They're projecting.
Yeah, they are.
They're projecting their own insecurities on you. That's what they're doing. Right?
Because I don't care. I'm just going to always be me.
They may see you doing what it is that you're doing, seeing you happy, waking up, serving your purpose, right? To the universe, to God, whatever that is. And for them, they have to seek inward. So what does that look like for them? A lot of people rather make excuses
100%.
than make adjustments, right?
So when I launched the Raw show, the live show, I lost a lot of friends along the way. And I had someone say to me, well, you've ran a magazine for 25 years. Why are you doing this now? And I said, well, one, because I can. One, it's always been a dream of mine. And I grew up in a place where women weren't allowed to have a voice or a say.
Why do you think that?
It just culture, just my culture.
What's your culture?
Well, we're not going to get into that right now.
No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So
just wondering.
Yeah.
There's going to be a part 2 of this.
Yeah, there's part 2, part 3, part 4.
Part 2 at least.
Yeah.
Other side of the director's chair. You
know? Oh, okay. That might be different. That might be different.
Something like that.
So I kind of derailed there for a second, but what I really want to get back to is growing up, being a visible minority. How has that shaped you? Like how do you not? So I have a lot of friends that are of color, and I don't even know. I'm going to be raw with you. Like, what's the proper way to even say that? Like, I didn't want to. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how to address it. So I need to learn from you, because I think everyone's so afraid to ask these questions. But I'm the first to say I'm ignorant. Like,
ask. That's what it all comes down to. Asking.
Okay.
Right. Ask what that person identifies as, right?
Okay.
Same way it goes with the pronouns.
True.
Right?
True.
So why can't we just ask those questions? What do you identify as? Are you black? Are you white? Are you Puerto Rico? Are you Puerto Rican? Whatever.
Okay. So I'm asking you, do I address it as growing up as a black man?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I can take that.
All right.
Of course.
So what's been the biggest struggle? Because I know growing up, being a visible minority myself, that there was a lot of racism.
In the city that we're in?
Yeah, and there still is.
To a degree. But I think you have to just shut that lens off and just realize is that everybody that came before us was preaching the same thing, right? I don't want to take it to, Black History Month, but look at all the icons that we had in this world, right? The men, the women. I don't have to say the names. People get on their Googles, right?
Yeah.
They spoke it. We were there, right? Our parents enlisted into us. They passed it down. Now we're here. Now we're going to have to deliver that same information.
Do you have kids? Yeah.
Come on now.
Okay.
Too young.
Too young?
The baby, the podcast is the kid.
Okay.
It's the baby. 6.
When's baby 2 coming in?
Baby 2.
Baby 2?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to find the right person for that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. If you could put everybody that you have ever met in your whole life to this part of your life, dead or alive, and you could only go to one of them, who would you look for in that room?
It's one of the most interesting questions because there's 2 people. But I'll go to my grandfather, mom's side, Sylvester Lawrence. Now, there's a lot that he did in his life. Didn't start his career till he was 32, right? He was a police officer in Jamaica. So I remember a lot of the things that I heard. He was always about taking people underneath his wing, presenting them to where they need to get to, right? So that's something that I would love to have a conversation now because I feel like it would look very different from knowing him when I was younger to now being like 38, right? It's a different ball game now.
Be so many questions.
I think it'd be a lot more me listening because he's a storyteller, right? So that's the most important thing.
Is there one specific thing that you would ask him?
I heard, so when they had the funeral, there was a gentleman that basically said, he told him about possession versus position.
Okay.
Never make it allow you to lose your common touch. Right?
Can you elaborate? I don't think I'm understanding that.
So
100%.
we have things in life. We have either a position in life, or we
Okay.
could be in a possession of certain things. Like you have a beautiful home. That's in your possession, right?
Right.
But it's not your position. Your position is podcast. So a lot of people have these things, and I think they put themselves in this higher tier of like, oh, maybe I have an expensive house, I make all this money, I think I'm bigger and I'm better than everybody. Shouldn't be like that. God giveth, God taketh away, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And I find myself saying that a lot. These are just things. These are just
Of course.
things. And they're gone. These are the moments that I long for, right?
Sure.
The relationships, the connections that you have with people. And I think that I'll be very raw and honest with you. Growing up, like you have this way of life, right? You grow up, you get a great job, you go to school, you make sure that you keep moving up, and then you get married and you get the white picket fence, and then you have to have a baby, and then everyone's asking like, are you going to have another baby? And then you get a house, and then you got to get a bigger house and the car, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like later on in life, you learn that none of that shit actually even matters.
That's the thing. But
So,
the entrepreneurs that are out there now say to you, and they say this, your goal should be able to be, how can you make your first million by the age of 40?
do you agree with that?
I think so. I think you should have that type of perspective. Depending on how, I don't want to get too controversial here, but
No.
there's like the working 9 to 5,
Mhm.
and then there's looking beyond that, right? I think when you look beyond, that's growth mindset. It shows you a lot of differences of like where you can go in life without having an actual ceiling that's capped down, right?
And I would take it opposite now at this age, that I would not say that make that first million. I would say find something you love doing, because this is not work to me. I love this.
It's your passion.
It is my
But it's going to
passion.
turn into your career.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not one to put the money forward. I have a strong sense of faith and God. And I believe God will always provide, or
1000%.
right. So I've gone from having a really rough life in my day. So I know I am grateful for everything I have now, right? And you never take any of that for granted, but I get it. We get caught up in this kind of like there's way more to this than
Way more.
right.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Your ride or die. Who would be your ride or die?
Ride or die
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
I have trust issues like Drake, eh?
I've got huge trust issues.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's such thing as a ride or die. Sometimes you got to bet on yourself, put all the chips on yourself.
Good answer.
Right? So I understand the game of poker,
Mhm.
but I don't really play the game of poker. So you got to always bet on yourself. Bet on black, No pun intended.
No, none taken. Jamaican? Is that what you-
Yes.
Irie, yeah, I do.
Irie, that's a little stereotypical there.
No, do you think so? I was just like,
Joking.
okay. I was like, because
Who's that? Why are you so tense now? Come on.
I only know bad words in Jamaican.
Like
So
what?
like just
It's wrong.
blood and
Let's see.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you cook? Do you cook Jamaican food?
You can. It's
Really?
challenging, but you figure it out. Can you cook?
Ackee and saltfish? I can cook. Yeah.
What do you cook?
I cook lots of things.
Lie.
Yeah, you're trying to find out what my culture is. I cook great
I
lasagna.
agree. I'm uploading.
Are you uploading?
Mhm.
Okay, you can keep guessing.
Mhm.
This is a bit of a game with me and my friends at the bar where people are trying to
The
guess.
bar?
Yeah,
Okay. So you still go out.
of course I do.
Turn up season.
Tur-
Get loose season. No, isn't that what you do?
Yeah, I go out. I go dancing. I go out with friends. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't discriminate where I go.
I didn't say that.
I didn't think you did.
You're putting words in my mouth?
No, not putting anything in your mouth.
Okay.
Okay.
We're getting acquainted here.
We are totally getting
Mm-hmm.
totally getting
All right.
So, okay, what do you think makes a good friend?
Somebody that listens, right? Somebody that's always there. Doesn't matter what's going on. They're there. They're not going to turn their back on you. Right?
Okay. I'm going to bring it back to that question because I know you told me about 2018 being sort of that life-defining moment. But let's get a little deeper. Like, is there trauma there?
Trauma?
Yeah, like, have you,
No.
No, you've had a
No
good
trauma.
life?
No trauma.
Okay.
Got to do the inner work. Always.
You always have to do the inner work,
Always.
right?
Always. Got to lead by example, right? Because if you don't do the work, how are you going to be able to speak and like help people, right? How are people going to come to you? Things like that, right?
And I know that you would look for your grandfather on your mom's side, you said. Is that who's been your biggest influencer in your life?
That's a great question. I would say so, yes. And then the other person would come down to, are you familiar with Dr. Eric Thomas?
Dr.
Eric Thomas.
No.
E.T. the hip-hop preacher.
Okay, yes, a little bit, but not.
Always wears a ball cap.
Yep.
The Jordans.
So that's your...
Yeah. Good dude. Never know, you might get in them spaces soon. I can see it.
Can you?
Of course.
Okay.
Why not?
Glad you have that faith in me.
I do. I celebrate people that are going out there doing this content creation because it's good to see, right? You have a story, you have a great thing here, and I want to see where it really takes off.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you don't
stop though. Don't stop. Because if you stop, there's gonna be. I might be in your DMs asking why'd you stop.
I love this. I can't see myself stopping, but I feel, in all honesty, this podcast is not about, it's about you. And my son gave me that advice. So every time I can hear his voice in the back of my head, he's 16 and he goes, when you're interviewing people, he goes, don't always bring it back to you. So if you said, I struggled as a child, and I'd be like, oh my God, I struggled as a child too. So I'm really trying to make this about the person that's sitting on my couch. But if I'm going to be true to me and be authentic to this podcast, it's going to be an exchange of your story, my story, energy, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Your word, if you could pick one word that is your kind of, not really to describe you, but am I asking that? Like, I don't know if I'm.
You're asking it. You're asking it. I just say just consistency. Showing up every day. What does that look like? Just take one day at a time. Even if you put 1 hour into content creation, put 1 hour into studying, 1 hour into reading that book, how are things going to end up translating in life?
Okay, what's made you so wise at so
Me?
young age? Yeah, like
wise at a young age.
A little bit of an old soul here.
Nah,
yeah,
a lot of work.
Yeah,
a lot of work, a lot of studying, a lot of research. Right. So pandemic, when everybody was either, talking to people on FaceTime or Zoom.
Zoomed out.
You know what I mean? Like I always said is you'll find out who's working behind the trenches. Mm-hmm. And I was working in the trenches, audiobooks, always sharpening the skills, sharpening the blade of mind, just to figure out where it is I want to really cement myself. And out through that came a certification for life coaching also too. Not practicing, but yeah.
You just got it.
Of course.
I'm sure there's still a lot in your life that you want to do, but is there anything you really want to do that something's holding you back from doing it?
No, I think I can say, but I can't say, right? Yeah, I'm going through a transition right now, right? So that'd be off at camera conversation. Okay. But the transition I'm going through is just showing me to my greater purpose. Podcasting is going to be the number one, right? It is always the number one. It's always been my first priority. So the ones that are hearing that, they're probably like, oh, so he really isn't fully committed. I'm fully committed when I want to be, but I'm committed into serving the purpose for the last 6 years in this podcast. It's blood, the sweat, the tears that goes into it.
6 years you've been?
6 years. Wow. Yep, 6 years.
And do you learn something new every day?
Absolutely. Every single guest, right? Even solo episodes. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm kind of at a loss for the next question.
Don't be at a loss. Come on, free flow it. We got this.
Yeah, I totally am, but I
feel like you say raw and authentic, and I'm like, where's the controversial news?
Oh, we're gonna get controversial in a little bit. The next one is gonna be, but
what's the next one? The next recording?
Yeah.
I might change outfit. I have to change out outfits.
Did you bring an extra outfit?
No, I didn't. No.
can probably lend you a raw t-shirt or something.
We don't do that. No.
No?
Nope.
All right, Mom.
This is where we're getting controversial now.
Okay, favorite book.
Wow. Unplugged Alpha. Richard Cooper.
Okay. Well, why? Why is it your favorite
A
book?
guide that I think a lot of men, younger men that are growing up, should read to be and what it looks like to be a male, right? Because I think there's a lot of masculinity now, I say quote unquote,
Mhm.
that can come across to be very toxic side. It's not a positive side of masculinity, right?
Now, you growing up, were you kind of always taught, like, as a guy, you need to be tough and it's not okay to cry? And, like, was that kind of an influence that you had in your life?
Not necessarily, no. That was more, I used to be more of a recluse. Didn't really used to talk, right?
Oh.
But working retail over the years, working for Apple and things like that, you gain your voice. And that's what led me just be like, hey, listen, this is how you can connect to customers, this and that. So I started to talk more. But growing up, you know how it is in a Caribbean household.
Mhm.
There's a lot of strict discipline. So you got to be careful what you do.
Yeah.
Or you got mom, dad, grandma, grandpa telling you what's up. And you know how discipline works there,
Hmm.
right? Thinking there's parts of you got to go back to this with this younger youth and stuff like that.
I kind of think that upbringing like
Mhm.
really made us. I don't know. Like I know nowadays parent like, and I can say this because I actually own a parenting magazine.
Mhm.
That I think that our kids talk back a lot more. Like, well, I would never have been able to say half the things our kids say to us nowadays, right? Like it's just kind of, yeah.
But it's a product of social media, right? It's what they see. It's all this drama TV shows, you like to call it. So these kids are like, oh, they do that. I'm going to do it now. You know, F you, mom, F you, dad. You can't tell me what to do. Slamming the door behind them.
Mhm.
Do that in Caribbean household. See what happens.
Yeah.
Game over. Turn your lights off just like that. Not figuratively, you know what I mean? But they'll
No, but
turn your
yeah,
lights off. Turn your lights off.
exactly. We
Yeah.
knocked out, man. Like
course.
it's just not happening. Wow. Okay. Well, this I not knowing you, I was wondering if there's like a deep rooted story that we were going to get to, but I do want to kind of ask you so many more questions.
away. Let's
I'm
go.
going to, but I'm going to, in closing, ask you your favorite song.
Anything Drake.
Anything Drake.
Anything Drake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like a morning ritual? Like,
No, wake up, make your bed, drink coffee, brush your teeth. All in that order. Sometimes it's not in that order.
Okay.
But you wake up, you brush your teeth, obviously, you wash your face. Skincare routine, you know. Have
What
the
is your
coffee.
skincare routine? You've got great skin. Like,
It's a brand called Teach Hanley. That's what I use. And they're not paying me to say this yet.
yes,
So if they hear it,
they will.
show notes.
Okay.
Yeah, cut that check.
Love it. You gonna share it? Because I asked the question.
Was it?
You're gonna share that money
Sure,
that you get? Like,
Maybe.
yeah.
Okay. We can talk about that.
All right.
But you're on the way.
Yeah, I will be.
Of course.
Okay, so that's no favorite song, just anything Drake.
Anything Drake.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.